Hello, you chuckle fucks. It's your boy Dark Raku here with What If Issei had a God Devilfruit Part 3 of this What If. Of this lovely. No, I'm just kidding. Just this What If. Not the point. I was going to do, what's it called? So I was going to do the Part 2. Part 2 of What If Issei was the successor of the Hokyu. I was going to do that one, but instead I had this one. I had a great idea for part 3 of this. I don't know why. But yeah. Now, let me begin this What If. Let me shut the fuck up, but yeah. Now, we go into mostly a blondish hair man with kind of blackish hair, and of course, mostly having a goatee, but not the point. This is where, well, he does kind of have a beard, but, well, mostly he's right now getting his ass beat. Now, you're wondering, what is happening? Well, we go into the person. This is where the person is right now kind of staring at kind of a palish blondish haired girl with kind of palish blue eyes. She has tears in her eyes, and this is where she's actually being blocked by other people. This is where a tall man who seems to be taller than, well, this person. This is where, well, he is right now getting his ass kicked. He tried to fly up, but mostly he got his wings kind of like grabbed by this person who has mostly his hair kind of shaved, and of course mostly he does have like a beard on him. Mostly he hasn't shaved or his mustache or any of that, like his beard. But this is where, well, the person grabbed his wing and started beating the shit out of this man. Now we go into this person's POV. Damn it. This is where, well, he looks at mostly the thin blank, mostly the thin air, and this is where, well, he says, "So you're all probably wondering how I got to this situation. Well, the name's Azazel, and I mean, you can guess that from my 12 wings. But not the point. I don't know, it's my hair, but that's not the point either. My name is Azazel, the fallen angel leader, mostly the governor leader. But you're probably all wondering, what am I doing here, and why is this like tall, big, muscular man beating my ass? Well, short story, long story, I'm just gonna go with a story in no matter what. Fuck it. I'll tell you what will happen. We go into mostly a couple of mostly minutes. Like a couple of like minutes, hours, just a couple of hours ago. This is where, well, mostly we go into mostly, well, this person kind of going into the mostly black market. He only went into the black market to actually kind of like get some information and other stuff, trying to look for mostly a brownish haired boy who has went missing for a while. It's been actually over mostly a couple of months. Mostly it's been over like 6 months entirely. Now, Sir Orcus' battle is actually coming closer, but the girls haven't actually really cared about where Issei's whereabouts are at, and at the same time, they haven't actually realized that there's a battle going to go on. Mostly, Rhea Squirmery versus Sir Orcus, kind of like barrage, but not the point. But mostly, this person went on to go look for the brownish-haired boy that went missing for a while. He had to get information from the black market. Now, this is the human/supernatural kind of black market. It's actually one of the black markets that actually has a supernatural within it, but not the point. Now, he was walking around this place. It's mostly like an underground place where there's like buildings that are kind of like a little bit kind of like ruins, but not really. Some of them are quite nice. Some of them are ruined, but not the point. Mostly, he knows that this territory is mostly held by one of the greatest families in the kind of underworld. But yeah, like a great kind of like underworld family. Now, he doesn't know the name or like the noble person who actually runs this black market, but he knows that the territory is somewhere around that. He also knows the gang is called Jokers. Now, he doesn't want to get involved with the Jokers because he has heard that Jokers can easily beat the shit out of any supernatural. Even though they're all like mostly humans, entirely supposedly humans, they're all very crazily strong. They don't even use sacred gears most of the time. Like, some of them don't even have sacred gears, but they're all crazily strong. This is where, well, Azazel wanted to avoid the Jokers entirely. But he had to get to the black market just to get some information. For the brown hair missing boy, but not the point. He kind of just walks around this place. He's just walking around there. There's not many people just walking around, mostly the somewhat underground city. And of course, being in the territory of Joker, but there's a lot of places that are selling, well, lots of stuff. Either you can get it illegally or not illegally, but not the point. So what they're selling is like, let me go on a few stuff they're selling. They're selling guns. They're selling like illegal guns that are quite dangerous to people, being either supernatural or non-supernatural. They're selling like RPGs, tanks. Yes, they managed to get tanks, not the point. They also are selling like swords. Actually, like magical swords are quite rare, but they're not that powerful. There is some of the swords are quite powerful, dangerous, like forbidden, but they're like selling it, whatever. They're just selling whatever. They're even some of them who are kind of female or even male are selling their own bodies, and not the point. Mostly kind of like prostitution, other stuff, but not the point. And this is where, well, that whole thing is mostly happening in that place. There's also like loans, like money sharks and other shit that mostly Issei kind of works in, but Azazel doesn't know about that. Now, mostly Azazel is looking around, and this is where, well, he's walking around down the street until he noticed a girl with kind of blondish, well, palish, rose blondish hair. Of course, she has it in two pigtails, and this is where, well, she is right now kind of having, well, kind of glasses. And this is where, well, she kind of has shades, but not the point. She has them mostly on top of her hair. And this is where, well, she's wearing mostly this, so she's kind of wearing these, what's it called, like this, mostly it's a coat that's actually like a cheetah kind of coat that's kind of fur, mostly on the kind of coat part, mostly like the hood or anything, being right now around her neck and not really on top of her head. But this is where, well, she also has mostly, not really skirt, just because the coat kind of has supposedly the skirt or whatever. But this is where, well, she has mostly, what's it called? She does have panties on, but mostly not the point. She has like this kind of little black kind of like mostly like, I would say not ribbon. It's mostly like yeah, it's kind of like a black ribbon that's kind of near her legs, mostly her thighs. And this is where, well, she has it on one side, and this is where, well, she also has like this yellow purse that's right now with her, and this is where, well, on her top of her head where the two pigtails are at, she has what's it called, well. So it's mostly like a black cat on top and a kind of white bunny, and well, in her right side of one of her buns is kind of having like a black cat, while on her left side is like a white, mostly rabbit kind of look like kind of thing to tie her hair up, but not the point, like a clip. And this is where, well, she also does have a belt, like a black belt around her waist, but not the point. And this is where, well, she's wearing like black kind of heels, but they're not that tall, they're like kind of medium, but not the point. This is where, well, she is kind of walking. This is where, well, she was kind of eating this kind of like lollipop. And of course, this is where, well, she was texting her phone. And when she looked up, her eyes literally widened in an instant after seeing this man right now in front of her. She actually gets kind of mostly a heart attack for a second until she needs to calm down because she's probably hallucinating things. This is where, well, her face was kind of a little scared and actually nervous around this person. Because a reminder of someone that she never ever wants to see again, ever, entirely, whenever she lives, or however long she lives, another point. That's where, well, the man actually widened his eyes. His magenta eyes looks at mostly the girl with palish blue eyes. This is where the girl gets uncomfortable and actually starts kind of like stepping back from mostly the older man. This is where, well, mostly the older man is a height of, well, so the height, well, this man is kind of the height of being like 6'2", being a little bit smaller than Issei, but not the point. Doesn't work well. The girl is actually the height of being like 6.5. I think I mentioned that last time, or did I mention something else? I'm gonna say that she's like 5'8.5", but not the point. Doesn't work well. She's stepping back, and right now she kind of accidentally twisted her leg, but this worked well. She didn't notice it too much until she felt the pain and fell down to the ground. This worked well. The older man kind of mostly walks towards her to see if the girl is fine, because, well, he thought he'd just imagine it, and probably this person is just someone that looks kind of familiar towards someone that he kind of has somewhat forgotten, but yet kind of remember at the same time. This is where, well, mostly, well, she fell down to the ground, and this is where, well, she felt more horrified when the man started walking towards her. Now, the man I should mention, he's wearing like a somewhat like suit, somewhat like a bluish kind of like suit on top with brownish pants, or magenta pants, you know what? I'm gonna just say magenta. And this is where, well, black kind of dressing shoes. This is where, well, the man is kind of getting close to the girl. She kind of started having a panic attack. This is where, well, her breath and mostly, yeah, her breathing started becoming more ragged. And this is where, when the man started getting closer, she said, get away from me. This is where she try to say some sentence. This is where, well, the man didn't really hear, but he did hear something. But this is where, well, when he's trying to get closer to here, this is where, well, the girl kind of says, "Get away from me." This is where, well, her magic spikes up in an instant. This is where, well, she sends a what's called red and black, well, mostly like a black and red kind of spear. That it was kind of a light spear, but mostly it was different. This is where she sent it straight towards the man until the man kind of jumps back and activate his wings. This is where, well, he was shocked to see mostly that spear, that color spear. This is where, well, he knows what it is. And knows damn well it's not a demonic spear, but actually unholy kind of spear. Mostly that fallen angels can kind of use, whether mostly if it was an angel, mostly the angels can use what's it called light spears, but usually their light spears are mostly usually yellow and white. Fallen angels can actually use their own light spears, and they're basically different colors sometimes because it's mostly like somewhat they're unholy light somewhat, but still holy, but not the point. Now devils can use this demonic, mostly their demonic energy, magic, to kind of make demonic spears, and they're not really light spears at all. But mostly this spear still has some holy light properties to it, and this is where, well, he does know whose light spear this is. This is where he never expected to actually see her ever again, until that kind of fortunate day when he kind of had to seal her away. This is where, well, he kind of just heard mostly this girl kind of just go away from him, mostly go away from her, and this is where, well, she is right now kind of like having this really shagged kind of like breathing style, but of course, this is where, well, when the older man tries to speak, before he can actually speak and actually ask her what her name is, mostly someone appears from mostly the sky and about to like kick him. This is where, well, mostly Azazel had to just jump away, but the ground underneath him when he jumped away kind of crushed in an instant. This is where someone appears with mostly their hand turning into a gun in an instant. This is where, well, like a cannon. This is where, well, Azazel widened his eyes and had to use his wings to try to block it. When he tried to use his wings, the bullet mostly went through his like wings, and of course didn't manage to hit anything, but just went into the other wings, managing to have a hole in his, well, one of his wings. Still, he had to fly away from mostly these kind of people who landed mostly in front of, well, his supposed daughter. This is where mostly he then looks at well, in front of him to see, well, two people already appear, well, next to Junko. Well, yeah. Well, not next to, well, yeah, next to Junko being what's it called? Two kind of like females kind of trying to see if she's okay. That being kind of like, they're somewhat, well, they are kind of a part of this, what's it called, territory entirely, and they have to kind of be worried about some people because they kind of see it's a big family, but not the point. But mostly they kind of are next to Junko to see if she's okay, to see her legs, and of course, well, mostly to see her kind of like ankle if she broke or something, and just to see if she's okay and just entirely. This is where, well, Junko is having a very harsh time to actually start breathing again, but yeah. Well, this is where, well, she is trying to breathe, and of course the other two kind of females are trying to like help her breathe by telling her how to kind of breathe again, and this is where, well, she is having a trouble time to kind of start breathing again. Now the two people that appear, one is named Baby 5, and the other person is basically like this big figure that kind of has like buck teeth and basically has propellers, but not the point, like a kind of helicopter, that's not the point. This is where, well, they are kind of just glaring and we'll see, well, the older man named Azazel. Now, of course, they know who exactly this person is. He's a fallen angel, but they do not care about this fallen angel governor. This is where, well, mostly Azazel was kind of wanting to talk it out so he doesn't need to cause any trouble towards the Joker family. He actually wanted to figure out why his daughter, mostly his true daughter, and not, what's it called, like, mostly not daughter-in-law, but mostly his mostly, yeah, his stepdaughter, his adopted daughter, is, well, yeah. Mostly, where am I going on? Mostly, he wants to figure out why his daughter was unsealed. But this is where, well, he is looking at his daughter's terrified face, and this is where someone appeared right in front of her, kind of blocking her way. And there was a tall figure who kind of had a shaved head, kind of a mustache, or a mustache beard, something on his face, like some kind of octopus. And this is where, well, he had shades on his face. He also had a kind of grayish coat on him. This is where, well, blackish kind of pants and mostly black dressing shoes, but not the point. This is where, well, he appears right in front of Mosi Junko's kind of like view. And this is where, well, Mosi Junko is trying to close her eyes, just trying to forget about the person who she never ever wanted to see ever again. Until Mosi, this person, the person who appeared right in front of her, right now rushes towards Azazel and punches him right in the face. So that's what exactly happened. We go back into Mosi, Azazel saying, okay, so this is what happened. But yeah, whatever. This is where, well, we go into mostly Junko's PFE. She's right now breathing too hard, and this is where, well, she's kind of having too much of a panic attack. This is where, well, she really needs someone to kind of hug, like someone that she actually knows, familiar, and actually really wishes that Issei was here. This is where, well, a person appears like walking behind her, of course, puts his hand on top of mostly Junko's head, and this is where, when she looks up, she notices it's none other than Doflamingo, also known as Doflamingo Adoxy Hiro. This is where, well, Doflamingo kind of just smiles at her and says, everything will be okay, Junko. Don't worry, Issei is already called over here to kind of, well, comfort right you. So yeah, don't worry about it. This is where, well, Junko nodded slowly. Of course, this is where, well, Dofi was now walking. Of course, I should mention that Dofi is wearing kind of, well, his casual kind of outfit most of the time. He doesn't really have a shirt on. This is where, well, he has his kind of like coat, long sleeve, but not the point. Also, his kind of like flamingo kind of like fur coat on him. And this is where, well, he has his, what's it called, hair not spiked up most of the time. It's mostly just normal, but of course it's kind of shorter. But this is where, well, he has his like shades on. This is where, well, he kind of tells Virgo to stop attacking, well, mostly the Governor Fallen Angel, which Virgo stops, and this is where, well, he stands next to, not Azazel, mostly next to Dofi. This is where, well, Dofi says, so, what can I do for the Governor, well, yeah, the Governor Fallen Angel leader here in my territory? That's where, well, mostly Dofi went into business mood, well, not business mood, mostly business mode, but yeah, this is where, well, mostly Azazel looks at mostly Dofi. Now, of course, he knows that this person is probably the true leader of mostly out of everyone. This is where, well, he can feel the strange, powerful aura coming off from Dofi. But this is where, well, Azazel says, oh, yes. Well, I only came here to kind of get information. Information about who? This is where, well, oh, information about, this is where, well, mostly someone said Junko. This is where, well, before, what's it called, Azazel can even, like, say, what's it called, the person's name, or mostly just give like a description. He looks towards mostly behind what's it called, Dofi, because this person said Junko and what's it called, Dofi. And this is where, well, Dofi didn't turn around, but he already knows the voice. And this is where Junko turns around and says, Issei. This is where she was crying. And this is where, well, Issei rushes towards Junko and hugs her and then says, are you okay? This is where, well, mostly Junko was hugging back and saying, yes. This is where, well, her voice were all stuttering, and of course, she just couldn't really talk too well. This is where, well, Issei says, your voice sounds different. Why is your voice different? Why are you hurt? Who did this to you? This is where, well, Issei's right now voice entirely went into a darkened kind of, well, mostly Issei's voice went into such a darkened tone, and this is where, well, his hair started kind of going up, his like goldenish brownish hair, and of course, well, somewhat white at the same time, and of course he's wearing this outfit right here, so yeah, this is where, well, his kind of coat is kind of fluttering up thanks to the pressure of what he's releasing, and this is where, well, mostly he kind of grabs both of Junko's hands and start holding them, of course kind of tightly, but not that tight enough to hurt her, and this is where, well, Junko started kind of just crying more. And this is where, well, mostly, not from the pain of mostly Issei holding her hand. It's mostly from the fact that she sees her loved one and the fact that mostly he seems to be quite pissed and annoyed. This is where, well, Azazel sees the boy, and this is where, well, he gets reminded straight up of mostly Issei. And of course, from mostly Junko kind of confirming his name, he wasn't expecting Issei to look completely different. This is where, well, his aura actually spiked up to being different also. It's much more darker and sinister. This is where, well, Issei kind of looks up to see mostly Azazel, and of course his eyes went as cold as ice. This is where, well, his mostly sapphire blue eyes. Now, of course, Azazel has never seen sapphire, well, he has seen it one time on, what's it called, Issei's kind of eyes. He thought he was just kind of drunken and probably didn't really notice it because mostly Issei one time had his eye lenses really off, and of course they were actually a crystallized sapphire. But this is where, well, Issei managed to put his contacts back, and after seeing kind of Azazel one time on an incident, mostly on a field trip, but yeah. This is where, well, Azazel sees those dark sapphire crystallized blue eyes, but now being so darkened. Of course, one becomes darker than normal. Well, both of them becomes darker, but one actually becomes purple, while the other one is a darker blue now. And this is where, well, Issei gets up in an instant. This is where, well, he launches a very powerful wave of energy. This is where everyone felt it, and anyone who was weaker than, well, mostly Dofi's, or mostly just anyone's kind of like weaker than a normal person who hasn't been trained, kind of easily gets knocked out. This is where, well, mostly Dofi can sense the power, but of course it's not directed towards anyone, but still people can still feel it and still feel the pressure. But it was mostly directed at Azazel in an instant, because Issei is still very pissed at the fact that Azazel showed up, and of course is probably demanding where he has been, because mostly he has been already told by his like older brothers that mostly the Governor Angel might be looking for him. And this is where, well, he's already pissed. He's hating the fact that this fucker is here. And of course, already probably heard it Junko, because he also knows about what's it called Junko's kind of story with Azazel. He knows that what's it called Junko's actually the daughter of mostly Azazel, one of the daughters of Azazel. But yeah, the other one was none other than Rainer, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei is over here already pissed. His aura is just dangerously, mostly kind of just so dangerous that anyone who actually is just a straight up normal human with no sacred gear or no special ability like a Devilfruit literally die in an instant. This aura is close to death. It's kind of like death is kind of aura. This is where, well, Issei said, "What the fuck are you doing here?" This is where he looks at Azazel and kind of demands why he's here. This is where, well, Azazel kind of feels the aura. Of course, he feels like death is right now just next to him and grabbed his shoulder. Of course, this is where, well, he kind of tries to kind of stutter out some words because he never seen Issei this pissed. This is where, well, mostly Azazel says, I was trying to look for you. I want you to come with me to go into the raiding games with, well, Rias. This is where when he said Rias' name, mostly Issei's aura went so sharp and deadly, it became like multiple daggers or piercing into Azazel in an instant. This is where Issei says, "You think I will go to that bitch again just because she's so weak and pathetic that she cannot train for her fucking life needed? Do you think I'm still a fucking tool, a pawn to that fucking bitch?" This is where, well, Issei right now aura exploded, and this is where, well, his, what's it called, element, Devilfruit started reacting towards his, like, will. This is where lightning started crackling off his body, and even, like, fire, lava, water, whatever bullcrap there's also there, obsidian, ground, earth, whatever. This is where, well, his aura is just exploding from his body. This is where, well, his eyes are right on a furious and angry kind of look. This is where, well, he says, "You think I'm just some damn tool for all of you to use? How about screw you?" This is where he say lightning pillar. This is where a lightning appears, mostly like a lightning circle appears on top of, well, Azazel. Before Azazel can even react, the lightning right now smashes into a body. This is where he felt so much voltage just smashes into him. This is where, well, he tries to kind of get back up, but this is where another, like, lightning shatters into his body. Or mostly just smashes into a body. And this is where, well, he kind of cough out some smoke from his mouth, and this is where, well, he tries to get back up, and this is where, well, then another kind of something interesting happened. Mostly an earth spike, multiple earth spikes smashes into Azazel's kind of like chest, right now making Azazel cough up blood. This is where, well, Azazel tries to get up, but this is where, well, Issei was about to murder Azazel. Issei was already pissed and annoyed, but this is where, well, Junko actually hugs Issei in an instant, well, mostly trying to make him calm down. This is where, well, Issei noticed what's called Junko's kind of warm, and of course, yet kind of gentle touch, and of course hugging him. And this is where Issei calmed down in an instant. This is where, well, Dofi did manage to kind of also put his hand on top of mostly Issei's head and say, "Calm down, kid. Mostly calm down, little bro." This is where, well, mostly Issei managed to calm down, and this is where, well, he decides to just hug Junko out also. This is where, well, both of them are hugging, well, each other. But yeah, Dofi walks towards mostly Azazel, and this is where, well, he tells Virgo to grab him in an instant. This is where Virgo nodded, and this is where Dofi asked the others who were actually there to actually keep an eye on, well, Azazel when he wakes up. he should be thrown into prison for a while. Does it work well? Dolphy would kind of have to go into a business kind of mode business kind of mode to kind of tell Azazel to, well, mostly fuck off his territory entirely. If he doesn't, he won't care about killing him. But yeah, this is where, well, we go into basically both Junko and Issei passing out, even though they're still hugging each other, kind of cuddling with each other. This is where, well, Dolphy sees this and thought it was kind of cute. This is where he decides to pick up both of the children, because he still sees, well, see Issei and Junko still as children, because they're still mostly 17. Even if Issei kind of grew a couple inches and became 6'3", and of course mostly Junko becoming, well, 8.5, he still sees them as mostly children. But yeah. But mostly he does decide to pick both of them up and decides to just bring them towards mostly Issei's room. And just put them into mostly Issei's room entirely. But yeah. Together, still cuddling, but whatever. Mostly Dolphy didn't actually have any struggle picking them up because he's quite powerful and strong enough to kind of pick both of them up. But yeah. But that's not the point here or there. Now, we go into Azazel kind of being in, what's it called, a diner room right now, talking towards mostly Kazaru and also Dolphy. Now, or Kazaru. Wait, let me actually say that again. Corazon, also known as, well, Rosinante Doxy Hiro, but yeah. And of course also talking to Doflamingo Doxy Hiro, but yeah. This work well. Mostly Azazel was actually quite shocked to believe that Issei is actually a part of his family. Or mostly these are actually his older brothers, and of course when he tries to talk towards mostly Dolphy before actually finding out this information, basically asking if mostly Issei would be okay to kind of go towards mostly the rating games and of course still be a part of Ria's kind of barrage. This is where, well, he felt this bloodlust, well, mostly not this bloodlust, it was bloodlust and kind of conquers Hakken at the same time, sending straight towards him by none other than, well, both of Issei's older brothers. This is where, well, mostly Dolphy decides to explain a little bit of mostly who exactly Issei and how he's so important towards mostly Dolphy and, well, what's it called? Corazon. Yeah, Corazon. This is where, well, mostly when Azazel was shocked and disbelieved to actually hear that both of them are basically his older brothers of Issei. This is where, well, he also heard that mostly Issei isn't going anywhere, and there's no way in fucking hell he can be a part of her, what's it called, barrage, when pieces out of his body are already destroyed. And even if he decides to, like, take some pieces inside his body, they will be instantly rejected from the fact that he ate a Devilfruit. This is where, when Azazel has heard of Devilfruits and how they easily reject pieces out of what's called anyone's body. This is where, well, he wasn't expecting, well, Issei to have a Devilfruit. Then again, he was shocked multiple times by lots of voltage of lightning and also pierced with mostly stone spikes. Luckily for him, if he wasn't a supernatural being, he would have been dead in basically that first hit, or basically just that first kind of wave of Conqueror's Hakken. But yeah. This is where, well, mostly Azazel kind of now nodded, now knowing that Issei is quite dangerous to the supernatural world, and it's rather better for him to just stay here. Of course, even though he hates how Rias cheated on mostly Issei, and of course broke his heart even with the other girls, he still just sees them as, well, mostly children half the time. Children that does very dumb kind of mistakes most of the time. He actually wanted to ask mostly Dolphy to kind of at least bring Issei towards Goa Academy. This is where, well, mostly Dolphy said no, hell no, entirely fuck no. Unless he decides to let what's it called his own family and those who are actually considered to be children in the same age as Issei to also go to Kuo. And mostly Azazel tried to bargain with that not happening because he knows that those people are quite murderous and already probably had their, like, first, second kill or something. But this is where Dolphy then said, hell no, I'm not letting my fucking little brother go to a fucking school full of nothing but just sluts and idiots. This is where, well, mostly Azazel did raise his mostly magic a little bit because he did see Rias as kind of a, like, mostly daughter. A little bit, well, yeah, kind of a daughter figure. But this is where, well, he then is kind of hypocritical. Yeah, yeah, critical from the fact that he already had daughters of his own, and also a kind of adopted daughter. But yet again, everything kind of failed. So of course, this is where, well, he's kind of sent a bit of his magic, but this is where Dofi kind of overwhelmed it with his conqueror talking. But that's not the point here or there. This is where, well, mostly Azazel then kind of just narrowed his eyes, but of course he couldn't really do anything towards Dofi because Dofi will probably kill him in an instant. This is where, well, Azazel then asked for another question. How and why is Junko Enishima? Yes, he basically, Junko's last name is Enishima. Well, kind of, well, not, doesn't have Enishima in the last name. Mostly she actually just got that name from mostly Dofi kind of just calling her that. Well, mostly just giving her that last name, but yeah. This is where, well, he says, why is Junko, my daughter, free from her prison? This is where, well, Dofi narrowed his eyes in an instant. His energy already spiked up even more and saying, so you're the motherfucker who decided to seal her. Seal is such a sweet, nice, innocent girl in a prison. Just left her there just to rot? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're supposed to be her father, and yet there's a son of a bitch who is actually the worst person for her to ever see. So why are you the fuck here? Actually, I'm actually already this close to just ripping you apart, gutting you out like a goddamn fish. This is where, well, mostly Dofi's hands started becoming strings. This is where, well, he's already this fucking close to just ripping him apart. This is where, well, as it says, she's a danger to the society. This is where, well, strings actually appear around his neck in an instant. This is where, as mostly Dofi says, finish that sentence. I dare you. I fucking double dare you. I will rip your fucking neck out. I will strangle you until you fucking, where your life decides, where mostly your eyes decides to not show life anymore. This is where, well, mostly Azazel kind of just narrowed his eyes, but he can't really finish that sentence because he doesn't know if Dofi's for real and trying to kill him. But then again, he can feel the bloodlust in the conqueror socket, so yeah, there's actually good fucking chance that Azazel's trying to basically going to die. Just the fact from mostly Dofi's bloodlust and aura. Does it work? Well, mostly, Azazel says, what I meant to say is, why did you free her? Does it work? Well, Dofi says, do I have to have a reason and why I freed her? She wanted to be freed, and I decided to free her. She was my assistant for a couple of years until she met Issei, and they became such a happy couple. I'm not letting someone like you, a bastard who didn't actually help out Issei when he called you, when he begged you, when he wanted you to help him out, and also just the fact that you ignore his cause, his cry, his plead. And also the fact that you want him to go back to that fucking slut's barrage is really pissing me off. And also the fact that you left Junko, someone that I actually see as kind of a, well, not daughter, as a sister, really pisses me off. The fact that you call her an abomination. She's not an abomination. She's basically my somewhat sister-in-law. I'm not gonna let some bastard like you dare just disrespect her even more. This is where, well, even if you're really her own father, someone like you, such a disgusting man, really pisses me off. This is where, well, Azazel kind of just narrowed his eyes, but he really can't say anything. He did ignore Issei's cry and plead when Issei was literally dying with the evil pieces. He is kind of just asking for too much with the fact that Issei literally hates Rias' guts and everyone else. And of course the fact that he can't really say anything about his own daughter, he really is just stunned silence. Does it work? Well, Rosanante is just watching this, and of course he's still also, he has a gun right now in his pocket just in case this motherfucker does anything. He will shoot this guy in the head. He doesn't care. We'll see, Rosanante is also quite pissed. Even though he's supposed to be like the peaceful one out of the entire like 3 brothers, he is quite pissed that this man literally appeared without any kind of, well, what to call, like notification or any of that. But yeah, does it work? Well, Rosanante just sighs and says, Rosanante decided to speak up, saying, about the rating games. This is where when Azazel looks up, and this is where Dofi already knows what Rosanante is going to talk about. We will be going to the rating games. But Issei is not going to be into that slutty red-haired barrage. He's going to be by himself, fighting against Sir Orcus and his entire army. And if you think that he is not strong enough to fight against everyone, then you're sorely kind of mistaken. He's quite one of the strongest people. So either you be happy with the fact that he's still going to be there fighting against Sir Orcus in the raiding games, but no longer having the same title as the Red Dragon Emperor, but instead he's going to be named something else. He also doesn't have the Red Dragon Emperor gauntlet no more, so that means he's no longer the secretary, or whatever the hell you like to call him. But that is not the point. With that happening, either you take the offer or you fuck off. This is where, well, mostly Azazel kind of sees how Rocinante is. He's quite kind of peaceful, but yet kind of telling him to fuck off. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly Azazel sees mostly Rocinante and Dolphy, and this is where, well, he just doesn't know what to do. He hears that's a good idea for Issei to go, but mostly he wants to solo the hell out of, well, Sir Orcus, mostly barrage by himself. This is where, well, Azazel sighs and says, fine, I'll let you do that. This is where, well, mostly both Rocinante and even Dolphy really didn't show their kind of happiness, but they were kind of happy for mostly Issei to be able to go back into the raiding games to beat the shit out of Sir Orcus by himself. But yeah. Now, we go into mostly Azazel actually getting kicked out of the, what's it called, like, mostly the territory that Dolphy has, and just telling him to get the fuck out of here, and if he tells Sarah or Zex, or even, what's it called, Michael, they will not care, and actually slaughtering the hell out of a bunch of fallen angels, and devils, because he already knows about how the territory of population is. He doesn't give a damn. So yeah. This is where, well, that happens, of course, is where Azazel was kicked out. Sorry about that. It was mostly kicked out, but mostly thanks to Virgo kind of kicking his ass. Literally kicking him in the ass. And right now launching his shit out of what's it called, the territory. But yeah. But mostly his wings would have been able to spread out. That if it wasn't really tied. Literally his wings were tied up, and when mostly Virgo kicked the shit of him, yeah, he couldn't really fly. He smashes through a couple buildings, but not the point. But yeah. But we go into mostly Rocinante and Dolphy deciding to go check up on Issei and Junko to see if they're doing well. When they go inside, or mostly kind of wanted to go inside, they kind of see something that they probably shouldn't actually intervene that much. Both Junko and Issei's face were extremely red. This is where, well, they're basically kind of just making out, and of course, basically almost half nuded. This is where, well, from the fact that both Junko and Issei were getting really intimated with each other, going to actually go and, well, none other than fuck each other, but not the point. This is where, well, both, well, Rocinante and, well, Dolphy kind of ruined the moment when they kind of walked in somewhat. This is where, well, they thought they were still sleeping, but this is where, well, they weren't expecting this. This is where, well, both of them were face red and just kind of hiding under sheets. So, yeah, they actually stopped with the whole intimating stuff. This is where, well, we'll see Rocinante and Dolphy says, well, that happened. This is where both of them just look at each other and says, he's really trying to have kids right now. This is where, well, we'll see Rocinante says, I mean, I would not mind to have, well, what's called a little nephew-in-law, but not the point, or not nephew-in-law. We'll see a little nephew. But still, it's a little too early for both of them to kind of start doing that. This is where, well, we'll see, well, Dolphy says, yeah. It's just, well. This is where, well, mostly Dolphy says, let's just kind of walk away from all that. This is where both of them just walks away, and yeah. Now, we go into mostly a time skip of mostly a couple months later, and it's now kind of the raiding games. The raiding games is still continuing. Mostly Sir Orcus is very disappointed in the fact that he is not going to be fighting against the Red Dragon Emperor, but just Rias' group. Now Rias just realized that basically they didn't have any time for the raiding games, and the raiding games just started, so yeah. So of course, none of her team was too prepared. Well, mostly Rossaweiss, yeah, let me actually think about that. Rossaweiss, Kiba, and even Gasper were actually prepared because they trained, because mostly they noticed that Issei was gone for over a month entirely, or more than a month, but yeah. Now, of course, they still fought against Sir Orcus, and of course, what's it called? Mostly Zenobia wasn't the one to actually cut off what's it called, Sir Orcus' arm. It was still Kiba. It was actually Kiba and even Gasper kind of managing to stop, what's it called, Sir Orcus from moving. But yeah, that was the thing. Now, with that happening, the team still managed to still kind of get defeated. And of course, Rhea's grandmother was fighting against her kind of older cousin, and her older cousin really kind of showed not that much mercy, because he was disappointed from the fact that the Red Dragon Emperor did not show up. And of course, Rhea's grandmother was defeated so easily, just one punch of the gun, and she was instantly defeated. But yeah, but this is where, well, before, well, what's it called? The announcer was about to say, well, not before. Well, he also just says that Rhea's grandmother has lost. This is where, well, everyone's kind of disappointed. But this is where, well, before announcing what's it called, Sir Orcus' win, this is where, well, as it says, before we go on to the victory of what's it called, Sir Orcus, will you like to have another match? But this time not against Rhea's grandmother or her Parage, but against the new and improved Red Dragon Emperor. This is where, well, or X-Ray Dragon Emperor, but not the point. He didn't really say X-Ray Dragon Emperor because, well, he didn't want to reveal that information. This is where Sir Orcus, and even what's it called, the Azazel family, or whatever the hell his name is, not Azazel family, mostly the whatever, Sir Orcus kind of like grandfather, great-grandfather, whatever the fuck he is, kind of over their eyes, because they never expected that Azazel to find Issei, or, well, mostly Sir Orcus, or not Sir Orcus, Sir Jackson was surprised, but yeah. This is where, well, we'll see someone actually appear right in front of what's it called, Sir Orcus. Now, of course, he's in that little dimension kind of place, but this is where, well, also his team appear. But yeah, Azazel says, so what is going to happen now, everyone? He announced everyone. What is going to happen right now is a battle between Sir Orcus Parage and himself versus the new and approved Issei, well, Doxihiro. This is where, well, he does say Issei's middle name. And this is where, well, everyone that was looking into mostly the, what's it called, like, arena to see the new and improved Issei, that came out from a gate, a lightning crackling gate with mostly a different bunch of elements, but this is where, well, mostly Issei appeared, and this is where, well, he looks completely different. His hair is kind of, well, it's kind of blondish and yellow at the same time, and well, not blondish, it's kind of like, what's it called, not blondish, he's kind of a little bit of having white and brown, and of course blondish hair, but not the point. This is where, well, his eyes are quite cold and dead, and this is where, well, it kind of unnerves half of the members of mostly Sir Orcus kind of like group, even some of those people that aren't on the stadium, but yeah. And also, Issei is still wearing out this drip, no matter what, he's still wearing that drip. This is where, well, well, maybe, wait. Well, yeah, he's still wearing that drip, and this is where, well, he has no shirt on, and this is where, well, mostly everyone is seeing his muscles, and this is where, well, some of the girls that are right now seen on the stadium are, well, let me say that again, are quite shocked about Issei's muscles, but at the same time his height. He's no longer the same average of being like 5'7", but being like 6'3". This is where, well, he also kind of has what's called his hair being different, his eyes being quite cold, and of course his face being much more muscular. This is where, well, every person that was watching this, even somewhat Sir Orcus, I think it was his queen or whatever, that one person that was trying to like strip right in front of Issei like original canon, she was actually blushing and immediately. This is where, well, mostly Sir Orcus was surprised to see Issei. And this is where, well, Issei was like looking at, well, mostly Sir Orcus kind of like whole group. Issei kind of nodded and says, well, it's been a while, Sir Orcus. This is where, well, mostly Sir Orcus says, it's been really a while, Issei. You've been gone for 6 months, if I understand. Well, not 6 months. Well, not 6 months. It's been a while, it's been 6 months. You were supposed to fight me about like a week ago before those 6 months happened. Hope you had a good reason. This is where, well, Issei said, I did. I do have a good reason. You see here, I am now, how should I say, should I say that? Maybe. Oh no. This is where, well, Issei says, maybe I'll just kick your ass after, yeah, I'll kick your ass and then I'll tell you later. But that's not the point here or there. This is where, well, Issei kind of pulls out something from a dimensional kind of, well, mostly like this dimension portal. It's two swords. Mostly one is kind of like a dagger, while the other one's a sword. And he just like puts it near him. This is where, well, mostly like three swords, but not the point. Well, one dagger and like mostly, it's like a dagger sword. It's like a medium katana, but that's not the point here or there. And of course, mostly two swords are kind of like beside him. Now, of course, he does have guns on his back, but not the point. This is where, well, Issei said, well, let's begin this battle, shouldn't we? Sir Orcus, I, who am the ex-Red Dragon Emperor, and also, oh yeah, I am the ex-Red Dragon Emperor, but I will still be managing to kick your ass. And you, who I don't really care that much, but whatever, let's just begin this shit. This is where Issei said, and of course he doesn't really care about cussing too much. He doesn't care about being respectful. He really doesn't care about anything. Unless he's showing respect to his older brothers, that's the only time he's respectful. Any of that other stuff, he doesn't care. But yeah, we then go into Sir Orcus seeing Issei, this new Issei, and mostly hearing that he's the ex-Red Dragon Emperor. Now everyone heard it, and this is where everyone widened their eyes. Ex-Red Dragon Emperor? So that means he's no longer the Red Dragon Emperor? How is that possible? This is where people are just talking. And this is where, well, mostly Rias and her Parage, even what's it called, Irina sees Issei's eyes being dead as hell. This is where, well, he's much more taller and handsomer. Mostly Rias kind of just blush, but this is where, well, she does remind herself that she does have a boyfriend, but she doesn't mind in trying to get Issei back again. But she doesn't know if that will work or not. This is where, well, Irina sees this, and she was not expecting to see Issei look quite good. Of course, his eyes are dead. Literally, he has no emotions in his face. He really doesn't care. This is where, well, everyone who is seeing this are just thinking that mostly something happened with what's called Rias and her Parage to not have mostly the new and approved Issei / ex-Red Dragon Emperor. Meaning that mostly Rias' group might have done something for this X title to happen. This is where, well, mostly someone in the crowd kind of shouted towards mostly the kind of, well, tried to shout into the dimension, but the dimension is separate, until someone answered back. But the person shouted out saying, hey, why does that mean he's single? Does that mean that he's no longer a part of what's it called, Rias Grummary's Barrage? Does that mean he's no longer kind of dating Rias Grumary? This is where, well, mostly, Rias was about to retort until someone else retorted. A guy who was actually quite tall. Most of this person has blondish hair, and of course does have a suit. This is where, well, like a blackish, well, button-up kind of shirt with kind of red kind of bow tie. He does have a pink flamingo kind of like coat on him, and this is where, well, he does kind of is like grabbing his mostly red tie, and this is where, well, the person retorted saying, oh, you see here, my little brother. He's no longer, well, dating or even married towards the red-haired bitch. You see here, you want to know why he's not dating her or even dating anyone in the Parage of that red-haired bitch. You see here, those sluts decide to, well, cheat on him with other people. So you can say that mostly my little brother has been broken heart. Mostly his heart shattered into a million pieces, making him one of the greatest people without a care in the whole world to kill you with. He doesn't care to kill anyone. He really shows no mercy and can care less about anyone. He can literally kill anyone without a care in the whole world. So tell me, do you think you still wanted to fight against my little brother? He might no longer be the Red Dragon Emperor, but you can see his power against mostly Sir Orcus, and you decide if you want to fight against my little brother. This is where people look, and mostly cameras turn towards this older man. And this is where, well, he then mentioned his name to be mostly Doflamingo Doxy Hiro. And this is where people widen their eyes, seeing the older brother of mostly, well, Issei. But this is where, well, mostly mostly Rosanante is right next to Doflamingo. Right now, smoking and not caring too much. He's saying, fuck it, I'm here also. The name's Rosanante Doxito Flamingo. This is where, well, he's smoking cigarettes and saying, and I'm blazing this shit up. I don't give a damn about you people really not liking weed smell, because I don't give a fuck. This is where, well, mostly someone next to him is sighing saying, god damn it, Rosanante. This is where, well, people are just seeing them, and this is where, well, Tofi seems not to care about people. Literally, if anyone dares try to touch him, they will die. Nah, they would literally die. But yeah. This is where, well, there's other people around mostly Doflamingo. It's none other than the Joker family, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly Law should have been also with, what is it called, Issei, but Issei wanted to go by himself and be alone. He would show them the true power of mostly his Devilfruit, but yeah. But that's not the point here or there, and instead, I'm going to be leaving it off here for part 3 of this What If. So yes, this is part 3 of this What If. Part 4 will be whenever, but other than that, bye, see you, and yeah, bye. But yeah, I think I'll fuck up a couple words. But other than that, I gotta be going. I think I still have to sleep early. So tomorrow I have to do something. But other than that, bye. See you. Yeah.